Okay, so we'll begin just simply by noticing the breath and feeling into the back of the body, if you will. So start to notice your inhalations and your exhalations here, and allowing your breath to be long and slow. Breathing in, filling up the chest, filling up the sternum, filling up the belly. Breathing out, releasing and relaxing across the body here. Good. So once again here, just noticing, simply noticing the body, noticing the feet as they plant down to the ground, the shoulders, the arms, and the chest. And we're going to begin today's practice with some mindful movements as you start by drawing the knee into the chest, hugging that right knee in, and just allowing for your right knee to sickle out to the right side of the room, and drawing that right knee back into center. And allowing that right knee to float out to the right side of the room, and hugging that right knee back into center. Right knee comes out to the right side of the room, and floating that right knee back into center. Release that right foot down as you hug the left knee into the chest. So likewise here, the left knee begins to float on out, and then the left knee begins to draw on back in. The left knee begins to float on out, and the left knee begins to draw on in. The left knee begins to float on out once again, and the left knee begins to draw on in, and then you'll change legs once again. So holding on to the right knee this time, begin to float the right leg up towards the ceiling, and allowing the right foot to come down towards the floor. Right foot lifts up all the way towards the ceiling here. Exhale, right foot lowers down to the floor. One more time. Right foot lifts up towards the ceiling. So take your hands now and place your hands behind the back of the right leg and gently begin to move the right foot in circles here, massaging or rather articulating the entire foot around the tibia and fibia at the bottom of the leg. That's it, and the other direction as well. All right, and softly releasing that leg on down, hugging your left knee into the chest now. Left knee draws into the chest here, letting the legs open up and out to the sides, and letting the legs come back into center. Letting the legs open out towards the sides, and allowing the legs to come back to center. One more time, letting the legs open out to the sides, breathing in here. Legs draw back into center, taking your left foot this time and extending your left foot all the way up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, you're going to bring that left knee back down. Left leg extends up towards the ceiling, and the left foot releases on and back down. Left leg extends up towards the ceiling. Take the hands behind the back of the left leg, and once again, just move that foot around in circles. So this is an exercise that helps to articulate all the joints within the foot and within the leg here, and then moving in the opposite direction whenever you're ready. Excellent. Eventually releasing that foot down onto the mat here. And then from here, you're going to take your legs and you're going to bring both of your legs into a bent position. So hugging both knees into the chest now. Squeezing both knees in and just gently begin to rock the hips over to the right. And back to center, and eventually all the way over to the left. And back to center to the right. And back to center and to the left. And back to center. One more time to the right. And back to center, and one more time to the left. And back to center again. Good. This time hugging your right knee into the chest one more time. You could take your right foot, just place it over top of your left thigh, and then begin to breathe here as you lengthen the right outer hip towards the left heel. Now continue to breathe here, and you're going to begin to lift up, or press down rather, through the left ball of the foot, and release that left heel down and lift the left toes up.
Once again, pressing down through the left ball of the foot, lifting that left heel up, and releasing that left heel down as you float those toes up again, releasing the left toes down, lifting up through that heel, and then drawing that heel down as you lift those toes up. Right knee draws into the chest, release the right knee down, left knee draws into the chest, left foot comes over the right thigh. And again here, we start to move that foot up and down. So as you feel ready here, you begin to float the left toes to face the ceiling here. Perfect. And then you release the left toes down as you lift the right heel up. You press the right heel down towards the floor, lift the right toes up. There we go. Exhale, lower down the right foot, lift up those right heels. And then once again, lower down through the heel, lift up those toes. And exhale, planting that right foot down on the mat. Taking both feet down to the mat, hugging both knees into the chest here. And just rocking the body very gently over onto one side and back to center again and to the other side. Just rocking here those hips. Good. So eventually now you're going to release both feet down to the mat. The knees are still bent here. Both feet come down to the mat. And you're going to hold on to the outer edges of your mat here. As you hold on to the outer edges of the mat, inhale, begin to peel the pelvis up, so lengthening the tailbone and the backs of the knees. And exhale, lowering the pelvis on down here. Good. Peeling the pelvis up, drawing the tailbone and the backs of the knees. Exhale, lowering that tailbone on back down. Peeling up, lifting the tailbone all the way to the backs of the knees here. Exhale, lowering on down. Good. Time as you take your arms out to the sides, draw both legs over to the right side. As you draw both legs over the right side, just begin to look over the left and breathe here. Breathing into that left hip, the left chest, the left shoulder. You'll draw both legs back to center and float the legs over to the other side. And once again here, just look over your right shoulder here. Good. Again, you'll float back to center. Both legs drift over to the right. Nice. This time as you drift both legs over to the right, you can take the right foot and place it on top of the left thigh. So this is a way to just stretch out that left leg a little bit more. Breathe here. Then come back to center again. So you're going to scoot the hips to the other side. You're going to take your top foot, place it over that thigh, and breathe in here. Breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe. All right, and then eventually come back to center. Good. This time you'll let the knees roll over onto the side. You'll press down through the fingers, lift the chest up, and find your way into a downward dog position. So spread the fingers wide apart. Press down through the balls of the feet. Inhale, lift the knees up off the mat. Downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose, walk the feet a little bit wider apart. Release the head down towards the mat and turn the fingers out so that the fingers face opposite sides of the mat here. Good. You're going to walk those hands towards the feet here. Walk those hands towards the feet. Inhale, peeling up halfway. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down here. Good. Take the hands to the hips, press through the balls of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest, find your way to standing. All right. Let's face the center of the room. Allow the palms to face forward. Allow the feet to be about hips width distance apart here. Good. Inhale, float the arms up and above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and find your way into forward fold pose. Inhale, lengthening through the chest, heart, and sternum here. Look forward and up. Exhale, hinging at the hips and folding all the way down. Inhale, spinning the palms up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the fingers here. Palms face one another. As you exhale, release those hands down and out to the sides. Woo. Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana pose. As you exhale, hinging at the hips here and forward folding. Inhale, peeling up the chest, heart, and sternum. As you exhale, forward folding again.
Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the fingers here. As you exhale, taking those hands down, out to the sides, palms face the front of the room. Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinging at the hips and folding all the way forward. Inhale, lengthening through the chest, the heart, the sternum here. As you exhale, hinging at the hips again. Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling, lengthening through those fingers. As you exhale, taking those hands down to your sides. Take the hands to the hips, step the feet wide apart here. Step those feet wide apart, good. And then from here, spin both feet over towards your right side. So as we spin our feet over the right side, and oftentimes we've done this throughout a couple of days now, you're going to hinge at that right hip and just begin to place your right hand on the right shin. Now, as you place your hand on the right shin, you'll notice here that a lot of the weight travels into that inner right thigh. So bend the right knee slightly here and draw the right buttocks in as you look up towards the ceiling. So that actually helps to take some pressure off of the right inner side of the leg. Take your right hand to the right hip, turn your right hip in, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. So from here, bend into that left knee. Glide your left hand down that leg, right hand's on the right hip crease. Good. Bending into that knee here, continue to press through that right heel and drive the left outer hip back. Spin your right side of the chest up towards the ceiling here and continue to breathe. Good, so press that right heel down, open the chest up, open the heart up, and breathe here. And now as you inhale, floating the left hand back to the left hip, turn your feet in, turn your feet over to the other side. Hinge at that right hip one more time. Draw your right palm down to the right shin, take your left hand to the left hip. Bend that right knee a little bit and spin the chest up towards the ceiling. That's it. Now inhale, float the left arm up, and draw the right arm back. Allow that left arm to float up towards the ceiling here. Press down through both feet, lengthen through those side ribs. Inhale, let the left arm lift us up. Hands come to the hips, turn your feet in, turn your feet out to the other side. So once again, you're going to hinge at those hips. You're going to drive the left hip back. You're going to take the left hand down the leg and inhale, float the right arm up. As you float the right arm up, press down through the right heel and begin to draw the left outer arm in towards the midline of the body. See that right arm keeps extending up towards the ceiling here. Inhale, float that right arm up. Let the hands come to the hips. Turn both feet in. Good, and step those feet back together here. As you step the feet back together, spin the palms to face the front of the room. Inhale, float those arms all the way up towards the ceiling here. Exhale, hinging at the hips and folding all the way forward. Inhale, lengthening through the heart, chest, sternum. Exhale, hinging at the hips again. Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana pose. Exhale, taking those hands back down to the sides of the bodies. Palms face the front of the room. Hands come to the hips again. Step the feet wide apart here. And then begin to take a forward fold. So as you lift the chest, heart, sternum, just begin to hinge the hips forward and take a forward fold here. Release the hands down the legs. Release the hands right underneath the chest. Release the head all the way down towards the floor. And see that the head continues to grow longer all the way down towards the mat. So from here, you're feeling both of your feet pressing down. You're allowing the chest to lengthen down towards the floor. Let the hands walk back any amount just so that you have more length in the legs. Allow the weight to be even in the feet. Allow the inner kneecaps to lift. Allow the thigh bones to press back here. Good. From here, take the hands to the hips, press down through the feet, inhale, lift the chest, come on up. Heel toe the feet back towards one another. Heel toe the feet back in. And then take the feet together as you allow the palms to face the front of the room. Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling. This time, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms all the way up and over the head. So as you reach the fingers up, you're going to lift all 10 toes up off the mat. As you lift the toes up off the mat, just see that the inner legs lift. See that the outer buttocks draws in. See that you could feel both sides of the legs lengthening to the armpits. Lengthen those arms over to the right side. Good. Inhale, find your way back to center. Exhale, lengthening over to the left side. Good. Inhale, finding your way back to center. As you exhale again, fold forward here. And this time, take your hands to the shins. As you take your hands to the shins, look forward, look up, and then exhale, fold again. Good. Hands come to the hips again. Elbows face the ceiling. Press through the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest. And float the arms back up again. Nice. Hands come to the hips here. Step the feet wide apart. As you step the feet wide apart this time, we'll spin actually our feet over to the left. We're so used to spinning to the right, we're going to spin to the left first. You're going to bend into that left knee and take your left forearm and place it on your left thigh. Now allow your right hip to turn in. Allow your left knee to bend and turn your chest up towards the ceiling here. Float the right arm up towards the ceiling. Turn the right thumb to the back of the room. Glide the right thumb down to the floor and inhale, extend the right arm up and over the head. Extend through those pinky fingers here as you press that right heel down. Now glide that arm on back up. Raise that palm up towards the ceiling. Now take the right palm, turn it towards the back of the room, and as you bend the elbow, place it right behind your back. Look up towards that right shoulder and breathe here. As you inhale, lift the chest, lift that left arm up, breathe. Straighten that leg, hands come to the hips, and turn your feet in. Turn your feet over to the opposite side of the room. Bend into that right knee this time and place your right forearm on the right thigh. Left hand's on the left hip. Inhale, then float the left arm up. As the left arm floats up, let the left hip turn down towards the mat slightly. Allow the left thigh to draw back to the back of the room. Good. Spin the left palm back. Glide that hand back behind you. Begin to float the hand towards the floor and float the arm all the way up and over the head. Continue to lengthen through those left fingers as you bend more deeply into that right knee. Now take the left hand, glide it on back. Inhale, float that arm up towards the ceiling. Spin the palm to the back of the room. Bend the elbow and place the hand behind the back. Look over that shoulder and breathe here. Nice. Inhale, float that left arm up. Raise the palm up, arms come out to the side, straighten through your right leg. Hands come to the hips. Turn the feet to parallel. Exhale, forward fold here. Glide the hands down the legs, release the head all the way down towards the mat. And breathe here. Allow your breath to be long and slow. Continuing to breathe in through your in-breath. And breathe out through your out-breath. So once again, see that the weight is even in the feet. I know more weight tends to be in the heels, so can you draw some weight forward into the balls of the feet here? And then from here, you could take your hands to the low back, press through the balls of the feet. Inhale, lengthening the chest, lifting up, and stepping the feet back together. Once again, coming into standing mountain pose here. Very nice. Hands come to the center chest. Again, interlace these fingers. Press your palms forward in front of you. Take your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. This time, take the hands over to the left side first. And come back to center. And take the hands all the way over to the right side. Nice, and back to center. So this is a breathing exercise that actually picked up from a hot yoga class. Which is where I first started practicing yoga. So you take your hands right over the throat, and as you breathe in, you open up the arms, you lift the elbows up towards the ceiling, and as you breathe out, you draw the elbows towards one another, and you lift the head on up. Breathe in here, filling up the lungs, filling up the chest, filling up the sternum, elbows draw to the ceiling. Breathing out, elbows face one another, look up towards the ceiling. Nice, lengthening through the neck. Breathing in here, opening up the chest, heart, and sternum. Breathing out, elbows begin to connect and look up towards the ceiling. Breathing in, opening up the chest and the heart, lifting up through the sternum. Breathing out, pressing the buttocks in towards the thighs, pressing the thighs back towards the knees. One more time, breathing in here, opening up the chest, and releasing the hands down to your sides. Palms face the front of the room. Really nice job, guys. Interlace the hands behind the back again. Begin to bend these knees, and begin to come into a forward fold here. As you come into a forward fold, take the arms, bring the arms up and over the head, and pull the fingers away from one another. The right palm moves to the right side of the room, the left palm moves to the left side of the room. Keep releasing the chest down to the mat as you breathe here. Good. Then from here, lengthen that chest up towards the ceiling, lengthening through this heart, abdomen, sternum. Interlace the fingers again. Press the palms all the way up towards the ceiling. We're going to do that a couple of times. So forward fold here. Forward fold towards the ground. Take your hands. Bring your hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers and pull your fingers all the way up towards the ceiling above the head. Now take the hands, glide the hands forward, glide the hands, interlace the fingers in front of you, and lift the fingers all the way up towards the ceiling. 2 more times. So the fingers release down. That's it. Bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers here, draw the fingers up towards the ceiling, and then the fingers come down. Interlace the fingers in front of you, press the palms forward in front of you, and lift the arms all the way up. 1 more time, gliding the hands forward in front of you. Interlacing the fingers behind the back, lifting the arms up and above the head. As you exhale here, hands come forward, interlacing the hands in front of you, and lifting those fingers all the way up towards the ceiling here. Good. Release the right hand over the right side. Take the left hand, place it on top of the right side of the head, and draw the left ear towards the left shoulder here. Inhale, come back to center. Float the arms up, change direction. So now, allow the right ear to move towards the right shoulder here. Back to center again. Take both hands, place them back behind the head. Let the hands come towards the head as the elbows face each other. Let the elbows face the ceiling as you hug the belly in and lift the chest. So you're going to round the spine here, round the shoulders, look down towards your belly button. Inhale, draw the belly button in, buttocks in, chest lifts, look up. Hug those elbows in, look down, begin to take the eyes towards the belly button here. Inhale, peeling up the chest, peeling up the heart, sternum, looking up. 1 more time. Elbows hugging in, looking towards the belly button. And once again, lifting up and opening up the chest. Very nice, guys. Okay, hands come back to the hips here. Walk the feet wide apart. Spin the feet over to the right side of the room. Bend into that right knee again. Take your right hand onto that right thigh crease. Good. Take your left hand, place it behind your back 1 more time. Look up towards that arm. Look up towards that shoulder, rather. That's it. From here, you're going to float the left arm back up towards the ceiling. Reach it on up. You're going to glide that hand up over the head. You're going to place that hand right on your left shoulder as you lift the left elbow up towards the ceiling any amount. That's it. Inhale here. Let the left elbow lift up. Bring both hands to the back of the head now as you straighten that leg. As you exhale, begin to glide your chest slightly down towards the floor. So inhale, lifting up. I'm going to tell you guys a couple of tips here. As you press through the right ball of the foot, hug the right thigh in. Your left hip is actually going to come forward of your right. So your chest can be slightly turned down here. Inhale, pressing up. Eventually, however, the hip's going to turn down, but you're going to try to turn the chest up. So even though the left hip turns down, the left side of the chest turns up. Inhale, lifting up. Bend into that right knee. Straighten that right leg. Turn the feet to parallel. Turn the feet to the other side. So let's start by taking the arms out to the sides. Bend into that left knee and place the left forearm on the left thigh. Take the right hand, just place it behind the back. So just be here for a moment. You're pressing through that right heel. You're engaging that right thigh, drawing the right thigh back and looking up towards the right shoulder. Inhale. Right arm floats up towards the ceiling here. And spin the right arm up and over the head. Take the right palm, place it behind the back of the shoulder, and lift your right elbow up towards the ceiling. Good. Now press through that right heel. Take your right hand behind the back of the head. Take your left hand behind the back of the head. Inhale, float both sides of the chest up to standing. That's it. So continue to hug the left buttocks in. Straighten your left leg. Allow the right hip to turn down slightly. Keep turning the chest up and see if you can lean over halfway. Inhale, lifting up here. So we're using our core strength, all right? Turn that right hip down. Turn the left side of the chest. Look up, look up, look up. Inhale, lift that chest up. So you could add a light bend to the knee if you need to protect the left leg. So keep turning the chest up, 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 up. Inhale, floating back up. Spin both feet to face one another. Release the hands down to the hips. Turn both feet over the right side of the room. Turn both feet over the right side of the room. So now both hips are facing over the right side of the room. And release the hands down to the mat. So if your hands don't reach the mat, consider placing blocks under each of your hands. Consider placing blocks under each of your hands. And as you press through the right ball of the foot, can you allow the right outer hip to draw back? So the right shin is moving in, the right calf is moving into the right shin. The right hip bone is drawing back to the back of the mat. Good. From here, you're going to walk those blocks forward. Bend into that right knee. Walk the blocks forward and begin to float the left leg up. So just being here. Release that head down slightly. Keep that left leg lifted. So the left leg is lifted off the mat. Very good. Light bend in your right knee. And then step your left foot to meet your right at the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthening through the heart, chest, and sternum here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthening through the chest, heart, and sternum. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting up again. As you exhale this time, float the right leg up. Float that right leg up. So the right leg floats up this time and you're breathing here. I'd recommend a mild bend in the left knee as you float that right leg up. So continue to press through the right thigh. Continue to press through the right shin. Breathe here. And as you begin to walk the blocks back, release the right leg down. Spin the right outer hip in. And release the head on down. Light bend in the left knee. Spin your right hip forward. And allow the head to release down towards the mat. So as you breathe here, as we take Parsvatonasana pyramid pose, you're lengthening through the chest. But you're also allowing for both outer thighs to draw in, back, and up. Good. Eventually, you'll begin to bend into that left knee again. Walk those blocks forward. Step your right foot to meet your left. Inhale, lengthening here. Exhale, folding. Inhale, sweep those arms up towards the ceiling for Urdhva Hastasana pose. Arms extended as you exhale, taking those palms over, out, and to the sides. Once again, hands come to the center chest. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms all the way up towards the ceiling. Glide the fingers over towards your right side. So we're doing a lot of lateral stretches today. Nice for opening the chest, allowing for good blood flow to move into the heart and the chest region, and also into the belly, moving over onto the opposite side. Nice. And then from here, as you feel ready, exhale, forward fold all the way down to the mat. All right. So from here, you're going to turn your feet, so you're going to bring your hands onto the mat, and you're going to walk your feet back and find your way into a downward facing dog pose. You're going to release the knees down onto the mat. Left knee releases down, right knee releases down, and you're going to find your way into tabletop pose. As you take tabletop pose, wrap the outer arms in, so firm the triceps in. Engage those core muscles, lengthen through the chest. Good. As you exhale here, begin to round the spine. As you inhale here, begin to float the chest, heart, and sternum forward and up. As you exhale, rounding the spine. As you inhale, floating on up. One more time as you exhale, rounding the spine. Nice. Okay, so from here, what you're going to do is take your blocks. If you don't have blocks, it's fine. You're just going to place your hands on the floor. You're going to step the right leg forward in front of you. So step the right leg forward in front of you. You're going to glide your right heel, or you're going to walk your right heel forward and walk your blocks forward as well. Release the head on down. This is actually called Ardha Hanumanasana pose, or half Lord of the Monkeys pose. Hanuman is a monkey god. He's the god of the monkeys. So this is his pose. So you draw the outer right foot back, press the right ball of the foot forward as you breathe here. And then from here, you begin to peel the chest on up. So walk those hands in, walk those hands in, walk those hands in. Float the right arm up if you can. Float the right arm up if you can. Exhale, lower that right arm down. Very nice. Okay. From half Lord of the Monkeys pose, what I'm going to have you do is walk your blocks in, walk your blocks in, walk your blocks in. So now we're facing the front of the mat. Okay? You're going to take your blocks, place them down. Take your left hand, glide it out, and extend your right arm up towards the ceiling. This is called side plank pose. The left hand is right below the left rib cage. The right arm is extending up towards the ceiling here. I'm sorry. Yes, the right arm is extending up towards the ceiling. Okay, from here, you're going to take your hands and place them forward in front of you. Take your hands, place them forward in front of you, and release your elbows down onto the blocks. I love this pose. I don't know what the name is of it, but I just enjoy it. This is like a really nice way to relax and just let the body unwind. So just to let the breath be long and slow, hug the outer left hip in. Continue to press down through the right ball of the foot. Right outer hip hugs in as well, and breathe. And as you feel ready, take the hands down. Inhale, peel up the chest. Good. You're going to draw the right foot. So take your blocks back again. You're going to draw the right knee back to a bent position here. And walk both of your hands inside the bent right leg. Now, take your hands down. You can, if you want, place your forearms on these blocks. It may be too low for you. You can place them on the highest setting. Maybe and place your forearms on the blocks. Taking yourself into lizard's pose. Lizard's pose is a very nice stretch for the outer right hip. So as we take this on the outer right hip, taking it on the right side rather, it's a really nice pose for the outer right hip here. So hug the right outer hip in. Breathe in here. Allow that breath to be long and slow. And then as you begin to walk the blocks on down, lift the chest on up. Walk back to center and lower the right knee down. Take the left leg, spin the left leg out, turn both feet over to that left foot, and then extend the left leg fully out. So we're going to start in our Hanumanasana pose. So as you take Hanumanasana, just see if you can breathe into those hips. So I know I'm not particularly flexible. However, you can find length in every pose. Even in this pose, you can start to feel the back muscles relaxing. You can begin to feel the left outer hip relaxing, the right outer hip hugging in, and your breath should be long and slow. Eventually, you're going to turn that left foot down to the mat. Right foot spins on down. You're going to take your right hand and place it out to the right side. You're going to take your left hand and extend it all the way out towards the ceiling here. And breathe. Keep turning that left foot in. Keep lifting through that left arm. So from here, you're going to lower that left hand down to the blocks. You're going to come back up. You're going to take your blocks and place them right in front of you as you release your head onto your forearms. So like I said, I'm not quite sure what this pose is called, but I really like this pose. I'll look it up. I'll see if there's like an actual name.
But I like that you can open up the bottom of the hips, the bottom of the groins rather, and draw in the outer hips. And then you'll inhale, lift your way on up. You'll lift up here. And then you'll begin to spin once again towards your left leg. This time, though, bending your left knee. Bringing both blocks inside of the left leg here. And then releasing. You can always release your forearms down. You could keep your hands on the ground as well. And just release your head down. So hug your left outer hip in. Continuing to breathe here. So let your breath be long and slow. Just noticing both your inhalations and your exhalations here. All right, lifting on back up. From here, you're going to take the legs and you're going to have a seat on your block. You're going to take both legs over towards your right side, so both legs are over to the right. The knees are right kind of next to each other. You got your left knee in line with the left hip, right knee in line with the right hip. And then you're going to take your right hand, lift it up towards the ceiling, and reach it over towards your left leg. Now turn your chest over to the left and lift the heart on up. See that the weight shifts over towards the right side. So if you can, you may only need your left buttocks on the block. Your right buttocks can be off the block, just so that it releases down. And breathe here. From here, what you're going to do is take the right leg, cross it over top of your left, just like this. Now you're going to need your right buttocks to be on the block. You're going to take your left hand, cross it over your right leg, and begin to bring your right hand behind the back. This is called Ardha Matsyendrasana, or half Lord of the Fish pose. So breathing in here, letting the weight travel from the left buttocks to the right buttocks, allowing the left side of the chest to lift, and breathing here. All right, coming back to center. Now, you're going to take both of your legs and spin them over to the opposite side. So, your right foot is going to come to the left side of the block. Your left knee is going to be in line with your left hip. So now it's the same. It's just on the other side. And like I said, try to only have your right buttocks on the block this time, not your left. Because you want your left buttocks to release down towards your right foot. And then from here, you take your hands and just twist them around the body. So the left hand comes over the left thigh crease, and the right hand just begins to place behind the back. When we take these twisting poses, interestingly, they're kind of boring, but they're good for the body. I like to take them because I think that they're good for digestion, they're good for our bodies, but they're not particularly exciting poses. They're just poses that we take to kind of balance the body. And once again, you're going to take the left leg, you're going to bring it over top of the right, just like this, and then you're going to bring the right arm around the left, and you're going to bring your left hand behind the back. So this is called Ardha Matsyendrasana, or half Lord of the Fish pose. And try to just soften wherever you can. Try not to overthink in the pose. There's some days where we sit in poses
And the nature of sitting in the pose is actually that's the best part of the practice, even though it doesn't seem like it while we're doing it. But when we sit in the poses, we can start to kind of slow down, recognize our minds, start to work through the meditative aspects of the practice. From here, we're gonna bring the block from under us, release it off to the side, and then you're gonna come onto your back. You're gonna come lying down on your back and hugging the knees into the chest again. So we started here, remember? And now we're back here. We're back with our knees hugging in. So you're going to take your right knee, hug it in again. This time, however, as you take your right hand behind the back of the leg and extend the leg up, if you want, you can extend the left leg all the way forward. So it's okay if the right knee is bent. I recognize that we're holding on to the foot. If you had a strap, you could place a strap over the foot. That's another option. You want to draw the right hip towards the outer left heel. Continue to breathe into the back of the right leg. Continue to breathe into the right hip. You'll draw the left knee to a bend. You'll draw the right knee to a bend. Release the right foot on down. Hug the left knee in. Take the left foot up towards the ceiling here and extend your right leg on forward. Flex the left foot. Breathe. When you take the leg up towards the ceiling, it's actually a very cleansing pose. Whenever we take one leg up towards the ceiling, it helps. It's called an inversion, and it helps to restore the blood flow throughout the body. So we take these inversions to reset the body. Have you ever heard that? To reset the body is why we take these inversions. Resets the body. So let's draw the right knee to a bend again. Let's keep the left knee to bend. Let's take a block, place a block underneath the sacrum here. So blocks underneath the sacrum. And from here, you're going to extend your right leg forward in front of you. So the right hip, the right pelvis, the right side of the pelvis, it's going to be on the block. The left buttocks is going to be on the block. Both buttocks are going to be on the block. You're going to spin the outer thighs in. You're going to lengthen the chest. So roll those shoulders under. Lengthen the chest and breathe here. This is an art of variation of a leg extension. It's an opening pose for the chest, for the heart, for the belly, for the pelvis, for the leg. And then draw that knee back to a bend. You're going to take the left leg out, extend that left leg forward, flex the foot. See that left foot is flexed, press the right foot down. And breathe here. Bring the left knee to a bend position. Now, lift the pelvis up, release the pelvis down on the mat. If you have two blocks, take your blocks and place them on either side of your legs. Now, if you don't have two blocks, or let's say you only have two blocks, and then you need two more blocks, what I would recommend doing is taking a pillow, placing it under each of the legs, or taking a blanket, placing it under each of the legs. You're going to take the arms over the head in Supta Baddha Konasana pose. The arms come over the head here and just breathe. If you feel like the setting of the blocks is too high, you can lower the blocks a setting. So you can do that. You can lower the blocks one setting. But you do want to feel that the blocks are supporting your legs. You don't want to feel like your legs are opening up, it's too opening in the pelvis, and then you're going to feel tension in the groins. That's no good. So we have to take our arms up, and we place our arms over the head here. And breathe. We take Supta Baddha Konasana
to create a sense of relaxation and openness in the body. It's a very opening pose. Then bring the knees towards one another. Take the legs. Bring the left leg over the right leg. So you can cross the legs here if you want. If you can't cross the legs, if it's not comfortable, then just take the left leg next to the right leg. Just let both legs release over to your right side. So both legs, left over right, both legs release over to your right side. And breathe here. Now, we just took a very opening pose. This is actually quite the opposite. It's a very closing pose. However, when we take this pose, it's a great pose to take as it helps to restore blood flow into the legs and the feet. So this is a very good complementary pose to take. And eventually the knees come back to center and allow them to come to the other side. So scoot the hips over to your right and release the legs over to your left. I actually put a block underneath my legs, so if that helps you at all, you could do that as well. All right, come back to center, uncross those legs. Lift the pelvis up one more time. Place a block underneath the pelvis once again. See if you can extend your legs all the way forward here. Turn the feet in. Turn the feet in towards one another. So to protect the low back, you turn your feet in. That's like a little secret in taking this pose. And just breathe here. Fully opening the hips, fully opening the pelvis. All right, from here, you're gonna take the knees back to a bent position. You still have a block underneath the pelvis. We've done this before. You're gonna lift the legs up. You're gonna take those legs any amount up towards the ceiling. They don't have to go all the way up. They could just go halfway or 3/4 of the way. Maybe they do go all the way up. Just release and close the eyes. We will not be here for long. So if you feel too much pressure is building in the shoulders, see that the weight travels from the tailbone all the way to the flesh of the buttocks. So you can feel that your distribution of energy is moving towards the top of the buttocks so that the back body is long. It should take some pressure off of the shoulders as you do that. And eventually you'll release those feet on down. Press the feet down, lift the pelvis up. One more time, let the knees drift over to the right side of the room. So this is a simple twist. It's called Jartha Parivartanasana. It's just simple twists. We're not doing anything here. We're just closing the eyes and relaxing. All right, let's do the other side. Take your knees, just bring them over to the other side. Close the eyes and breathe. All right, so from here, let's take those legs. Let's extend those legs fully on forward. Let's release the arms to the sides. Open the chest, open the heart. Breathe here. See that the buttocks flesh moves away from the low back. See that the buttocks flesh moves towards the heels. Let the inner thighs release. Let the outer thighs release. Let the feet release. Allow the facial muscles to soften here. Allow the tops of the shoulders to release towards the backs of the shoulders. If you'd like, you can walk the left and right palms forward just a little bit. Palms are still facing the ceiling, but you walk them forward just so that the center chest lifts up. Collarbones are spread wide apart. So notice here this sense of ease and well-being. It's not always that we have to do. Yes, doing is important and at times very important. But there are other times where it's important to just rest and relax. And at the end of a yoga practice, most certainly, that is one of those times. So as you begin to travel your awareness or attention back into the body, wiggle the fingers and the toes. Begin to move the head from left to right. And then extend your arms up over the head, lengthening through the fingers here as you bring the knees to a bent position. Gently moving the hips over to your left as you revolve the legs over to your right and release the head on down. Now press your palm down into the earth. Inhale, float the chest on up and find your way back into a seated position. As you find your way into a seated position, once again, closing the eyes and taking your attention to your breath. Take your hands to the center chest. Exhale, release the chin towards the chest. Lift the head, open the eyes. Namaste, yogis. So thank you guys so much. I hope that you guys had a very nice practice, wonderful practice today. Really nice. We did a little bit of a stronger practice in the beginning, but then we always take it a little bit slower pace towards the end. So I think that that's kind of been a good tempo to move at. If you guys have any suggestions for practices, please feel free to let me know. I'm happy to make modifications for classes if at all there's any interest. And for whoever's watching here, my name is Jason Gorenstein. This is at Yoga with Jason G. It's the @ Yoga with Jason G. Happens this integrated wellness class happens every weekday at 3 p.m. on Facebook Live. Plenty of classes throughout the week. So if you guys want to stick around for another minute or so, I give my usual closing for those of you who are here. And
So thank you guys so much once again. It's a pleasure sharing practice with you, Gail and Dan. Amazing to have you guys in practice as always. I hope that you guys enjoyed the class. Our next practice is tomorrow, Friday, June the 5th at 3 p.m. Couple ways that you guys could enjoy the practice: giving a thumbs up sign, a like sign, a heart sign, and sharing. Oh, Gail, thank you so much. Yes, really nice. We had some movement today, and we also had some restfulness. So a really good combination. Anybody else who's watching, hopefully you're having a nice day as well. I hope that you guys are doing well and your day is going positively. If you enjoyed this class, tomorrow we have another one. So please join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. And I will look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. Namaste, yogis. I'll see you guys. See you, Gail. See you, Dan. Bye, guys.